Once upon a time, in a beautiful, green forest filled with tall trees and colorful flowers, lived a very curious little cat named Whiskers. Whiskers had the softest gray fur you've ever seen, and his big eyes sparkled like emeralds. He wasn't just any cat. Whiskers loved exploring and was always on the lookout for a new adventure. One bright and sunny morning, as he was playfully chasing a butterfly in the garden, he noticed something special. Tucked away behind a big bush of red roses, there was a strange, beautiful glow. Whiskers tiptoed closer, his little nose twitching with curiosity. It was a shimmering, swirling portal, like a window made of rainbows and starlight. It hummed with a gentle, magical sound. Where could it lead? Whiskers couldn't see what was on the other side, but his adventurous spirit took over. He felt a little nervous, but mostly, he felt excited. Taking a deep breath, the brave little cat gathered all his courage and stepped right through the glowing portal. Suddenly, Whiskers wasn't in his garden anymore. He found himself in a truly magical world. The grass under his paws felt like soft velvet. The trees had leaves that sparkled with glitter, and tiny, glowing creatures that looked like fireflies flew all around him. Before he could even say meow, a friendly-looking rabbit with long, floppy ears hopped over to him.
But this was no ordinary rabbit.
It stood on its hind legs and spoke. "Welcome, brave little cat," the rabbit said, his voice full of worry. "We're so glad you're here. Our world is in big trouble." Whiskers tilted his head, his green eyes wide with surprise. "Trouble? What happened?" he asked. The rabbit sighed, and his ears drooped sadly. "An evil wizard came and stole all the colors from our land," he explained. "He used his magic to turn everything gray and sad. We need your help to bring the colors back." Whiskers looked around and saw what the rabbit meant. The once vibrant world was now dull and colorless. He saw tiny fairies with beautiful wings sitting on gray mushrooms, unable to fly. He saw flowers that were famous for their beautiful songs, but now they were completely silent. Even the giant, ancient trees looked gloomy and tired without their bright green leaves. Whiskers felt a surge of determination. He puffed out his little chest and said confidently, "Don't you worry, I'll help you. We'll fix this all together." The rabbit's face lit up with hope. "Oh, thank you, thank you," he cheered. So, Whiskers and his new rabbit friend set off on a great journey.
They walked past the silent flowers and the sad fairies, promising them that color and happiness would return soon.
They followed a winding path until they came to a sparkling river. The water was still clear, but the riverbank was gray. And there, sitting on a smooth gray stone by the water, was a beautiful, glowing rock. It shimmered with all the colors of the rainbow, like a piece of a rainbow had fallen from the sky. "Look," the rabbit whispered. "It's a magical rainbow stone. The legend says it holds the power to restore all the colors." Whiskers knew what they had to do. They carefully picked up the rainbow stone, which felt warm and pulsed with a gentle energy. With their new hope held tight, they continued their journey toward the wizard's castle. The path became darker and spookier the closer they got. Twisted, gray trees lined the way, and the air grew cold. Finally, they saw it in the distance. A tall, dark castle with pointy towers that seemed to poke the gray sky. This was the home of the evil wizard. Taking a deep breath, Whiskers and the rabbit crept closer, ready to face him
And bring the colors back to the magical world.
They tiptoed quietly to the castle gates and peeked inside. There he was, the evil wizard, pacing back and forth in his grand hall. He wore a long, black cloak and held a twisted, dark wand in his hand. "Ha ha!" he cackled, his voice echoing through the empty castle. "All the beautiful colors are mine now. This world will be gray forever." Whiskers knew they couldn't fight the wizard with strength. They had to be clever. He whispered a plan to the rabbit. "You distract him," Whiskers explained, "and I'll sneak up and use the rainbow stone." The rabbit nodded bravely. He hopped into the main hall and started doing silly jumps and funny dances. "Hey, Mr. Wizard! Look at me!" the rabbit shouted, waving his paws. The wizard turned, annoyed. "What is this nonsense?" "Go away, you silly rabbit," he grumbled. completely distracted. This was Whiskers' chance. He scurried silently into the castle, his paws barely making a sound on the cold stone floor. He crept up behind the wizard, who was still busy scolding the rabbit. With a leap, Whiskers reached up and touched the glowing rainbow stone to the tip of the wizard's magic wand. Boom! A huge burst of bright, beautiful light exploded from the wand. It wasn't a scary explosion, but a wonderful one. Waves of color red, blue, yellow, green, and purple rushed out of the castle and spread across the land. Outside, the fairies' wings filled with color, and they began to fly and giggle, leaving sparkling trails behind them. The silent flowers opened their petals in brilliant hues and started singing their sweet songs again. The giant trees turned a vibrant green, and the whole world glowed with life and happiness. The wizard, shocked, dropped his wand. His dark cloak magically turned into a bright, cheerful robe. He looked around, and his grumpy face softened. It turned out he wasn't really evil. He was just very lonely and wanted everyone to pay attention to him. Whiskers walked up to him and said kindly, "Being friends is much more fun than being alone. Why don't you come play with us?" The wizard looked down at the little cat, and a small smile appeared on his face. He felt sorry for taking the colors and realized that sharing happiness was much better than keeping it all for himself. I would like that very much," he said in a quiet voice. And so the wizard came out of his castle and became friends with everyone in the magical land. They all celebrated together under the beautiful, colorful sky. There was dancing, joyful laughter, and happy songs that filled the air. The fairies flew in dazzling patterns. The rabbit showed everyone his funniest dances, and even the wizard learned how to play hide and seek. Whiskers felt so happy seeing everyone joyful and together. After a long day of fun and celebration, it was time for Whiskers to go home. He said goodbye to all his new friends, the rabbit, the fairies, and even the wizard, who was now their good friend. They all promised to visit each other soon. Whiskers walked back to the shimmering portal.
As he stepped through it and found himself back in his own garden, the portal vanished with a soft sparkle.
The sun was beginning to set, casting a warm, golden glow over everything. Whiskers sat down and thought about his incredible day. He realized that the greatest and most wonderful adventures are the ones that come from being kind and making new friends. From that day on, Whiskers the cat was even braver, kinder, and more helpful than before. And so, our story of Whiskers comes to an end. But always remember, your own wonderful adventures with your friends are just beginning. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.